1 year ago on this stage, I was very pregnant, and we talked about the beginning of a revolution. Today, my new daughter is walking, and because of you, the revolution is rolling. You told the world that time's up on violence. You told the world that time's up on silence. You told the world that it's time for a new day, time for a new locker room culture, time to think about every person's desires, needs.
The entire board of the famed nonprofit organization Time's Up, created in the wake of the Me Too movement, has resigned. There's been a lot of news regarding women's issues this past week, from the Texas abortion ban upheld by the Supreme Court to the continuing devastating effects on women in the workplace post-COVID. But one thing that may have slipped past you was the shocking news that the entire Time's Up board, including celebrities like Shonda Rhimes and Eva Longoria, are now stepping down. Time's Up raised millions of dollars for victims of sexual abuse and displayed very public solidarity with survivors at flashy awards shows, which Time, many including myself, believed could shed a new light on the historic issue of sexual violence and bring money and power into the fight against it. But instead of actual solidarity, Time's Up was just another Hollywood PR campaign. It's clear now that the organization's adjacency to power and privilege was the corrupting factor in the organization's collapse, the nail in the coffin coming as information proved that executives Roberta Kaplan and Tina Chen took the side of former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, advising him in the wake of the sexual harassment allegations lobbied his way. You can check out a previous video of mine if you want more details on that and the in-depth report from the New York Attorney General that led to Cuomo's ultimate resignation. I'm Caroline Johnson, thanks for watching. In my previous video, I noted that former CEO Roberta Kaplan resigned after the investigation found she'd been involved in efforts to try and discredit Cuomo's first public accuser, Lindsey Boylan. Just days after Cuomo resigned, Chen also stepped down as CEO after text messages revealed she had initially discouraged Time's Up leaders from making any public comment about Boylan's allegations. But will these changes really do anything to improve the reputation of the organization now that it more publicly stands for colluding with perpetrators than holding them accountable? One reason why I'm not optimistic is the timing of this move. Many people have voiced their anger at the organization for burying this news the Friday afternoon before the Labor Day weekend. The governing board remained silent for so long. Their silence will not save them. Activist and sexual assault survivor Allison Turkos, who organized the survivors' letter earlier in August calling for an investigation into Time's Up, said, "This announcement was made late on a Friday night on a holiday weekend. It doesn't feel like they are proudly stepping into a new direction. It feels like they are doing this in the shadows." By using powerful celebrities and political and media figures to fight the cause, Time's Up is a stark example of how enabling powerful, wealthy elites, male or female, in the fight for liberation from sexual assault can have the opposite effect. Their entrenchment in the system only led these women to further their own interests of power and celebrity. What we have to do is center survivors and those on the ground actually engaging in restorative practices with both survivors and perpetrators. It's clear now that these displays of feminism only brought more power and privilege to those in the organization, power they used to silence future victims. It's shameful and harmful, and I agree the announcement on a Friday before a long weekend doesn't instill confidence in me that they're going forward with a new, more effective vision. These resignations are a step in the right direction. However, survivors are waiting to hear their concrete plans and how the organization plans to repair harm, Turkos said. With women facing dire conditions, from being forced out of the workplace due to the pandemic to having to double as teachers, facilitators for remote learning without extra support or compensation, we must demand not just promises of future support from places like Time's Up, but real accountability and transparency. Time's Up has an insurmountable, if not maybe impossible, task ahead of them. Thanks so much for watching. You can follow me on all platforms at Caro Johnson 917.